Hi there, this is Michael Becker, and in this 5Cs School of Knowledge Management video on Mastering Tinderbox, I wanted to introduce you to a new file I've produced through the school, and I'm calling it the 5Cs TBX Table, Views, and Library template. And what it does is it enables you to be able to take a selected note, and put all of the children of that note into a table, and so then you'll be able to view that note either as a standard table, as a transposed children table, or as a row span table. And then there's some other features within the file, such as the dynamic supporting of formatting of attribute values, an installer, the use of a macro, and several other Easter eggs I've scattered in throughout the file. But let me go ahead and show you some examples of how it works. So here we have a series of notes. I've got, and I'll give you 4 or 5 examples, and then I'll show you the installer really quick. But you'll see here we've got a series of notes, and there's a parent note, and then its children. And those children notes have various attributes associated, various attribute files associated with them. Now, when you typically install a Tinderbox template and you're looking at it through like a Microsoft Word or Google Docs like linear view, this is what that file would look like. And I'm using an APA style heading, so the heading ones are bolded, and so, bolded and centered. And you'll see here that I've got my standard linear view of those children notes. Now, as I've shown you in previous files, we can also look at those notes as a list view. So I'm now rendering those same notes as a list view. And now with my new library that I'm introducing, you can then look at those notes as a table. And this is an example of a standard table. And let's say we wanted to row span all of the notes against the media flag. We could do that easily just by checking a Boolean. And now we've row spanned the table across those notes. Similarly, if we wanted to then transpose the table so the names of the children become the column headers, we can do that. And so you'll see that the names of the children have become the column headers, and the attribute names have become the column row name labels. And what's exciting about this too is that there is a lot of formatting going on behind the scenes as well to make sure that emoji like flags are properly formatted, or URLs actually become clickable, and you can interact with those throughout the tables. So that's one example. Let me give you a few others while we go through this. So let's say I've got a soccer football team's roster, and we've got team positions and ages. We can go ahead and look at the table as look at it as a standard table. Let's say we wanted to row span that table against the position of the students. We can do that, and now we've row spanned the table against the positions, so we can see which players have the similar position. We could easily change that too by just giving the attribute name for the appropriate note, and then now we're row spanning against age. And this is a nice time to introduce too how I'm doing this. Essentially what you can do is you can do a attribute slash label pairing dictionary in the note. And so you'll see here I'm telling the file to take the attribute name first name plus the label first name, last name, label, last name, position, age, and then render that table. So the way to easily generate a table is, say we just wanted to remove these 2 features from the table. So now we removed those items from the table. If we actually delete the row span now, we can go ahead and we just get the list of the players' names. So you see that this capability affords some really flexible ways and elements for managing and being able to display our notes. And this is a great example of, you'll notice how here I've interjected an error code management as well. It's telling me that I didn't have a attribute name to be able to do and trigger the row span. So as soon as you do that, it starts to work. Now, another example would be a company directory. Similar example, I've got a bunch of those children notes. These companies have various different values. And now I can go and look at the companies and their notes in a variety of different ways. And you'll see here I've got revenue and founded, the year founded there. And this is a great example of doing formatting. So let's say we wanted to change from the year founded and change the formatting of the dates and just make it like month, day, year. We could do that, and then the date formats automatically get transposed and changed. Or we can do month, day, year. using a different flag, and you can see that we're changing the date. So very, very flexible for that. And one more example in formatting. Let's say we wanted to use Roman numerals for the numbers instead of just the comma separated numbers. We do that, and now all of our numbers become Roman numerals. So we're just using the industry standard formatting flags for formatting images and numbers, files, etc. So that's another great way of being able to format and use the tables. If you wanted to filter your notes, I've been playing with a way of building filtering into the library, but honestly the easiest and most reliable way to filter a table is to use an agent. So for example, if I wanted to pull the team roster here, I just tell Tinderbox, go into the team roster and grab all of the players under the age of 25, and then I'm able to render that table. And you'll notice the difference here is in the style sheeting. Here's an example of the table using style sheeting. Here's an example of the table not using the style sheet. So you can actually control the style sheets within this file to determine how you want your tables to be rendered. And then finally, I've interjected, as I had with my previous list view library, the ability to use macros so that you can insert tables anywhere. So here's an example of a macro library that's being called. And so when I preview this note, all of the various tables are now being inserted specifically into this particular file. So let me go ahead and show you that from the perspective of the installer. So I go hit File, go to New, we create a new Tinderbox file that I'm going to drag over right now. Paste it in. Let's turn off the flags for the new attributes, and we'll install it. Okay, so now we have the new file installed, and what a fun new feature with this installer is a step-by-step approach to help kind of onboard you and guide you through the process of using this table. I'm also going to be publishing this video in this onboarding library, so you'll be able to watch the video within the file itself as well, so keep an eye out for that. And then if we go here, you'll see I've got the example notes that we had before, and we can easily render them. So here's a great use of the macro example. So if we go to the step 3, try out the macro, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight and grab all of the macro code that we need, copy this, and we're now going to go ahead and create our macro. All right. Paste in our macro code. So now we've got our macro code up and running, and then in order for that macro to work, we go back to our instructions and we say let's grab the macro example, and we'll go ahead and create ourselves a new note and type in some text, and let's insert our table right here. So now we're almost ready to go. Let me just show you. We're going to try to preview this note, and it's going to give us an error saying that you need to grab an ID number from whatever note you want to be initiating the table. So let's go ahead and grab that ID number, and we'll now input this into the macro, and here you go. We now have our table imported into the note. Now, one of the fun things that we can do with this is we can add and delete different values from that note. So for example, as we're building the table, let's say we didn't want the media flag attribute as part of the note, or we didn't want the category as part of the note. All we need to do is remove these elements from the macro, and those elements get removed from the table. Likewise, if you wanted to be able to work with the table in different ways from this view, so let's say you wanted to do the transposed version, we could do that. And so now you're getting the children as names, so you're able to actually take all the values that you would use from playing with the attributes in the displayed attributes of a note, and actually manipulate those flags within the macro to determine how your table is going to be displayed. So this is just a really, really fantastic way for managing and doing your notes. And other uses and applications for this are like project management, task list management. There's just a whole bunch of different ways that one might be able to leverage this capability when they're producing and writing and trying to figure out and think with their notes in Tinderbox, let alone publish their notes in and out of Tinderbox. And then obviously you can copy and paste these notes into a Google Doc or into a Word doc, or even use tools like Pandoc to render these items. One other nice example of this is I wanted to highlight and call out as well that in this file, Tinderbox already has a table view capabilities. So for example, if we click over here, and let me just show you here, I'll close these files here and we'll just show you. So for example, let's say we're going to look at the players. We're going to open up this in a new tab and then look at this from a table view. And so the Tinderbox and built-in table view is awesome. It's really, really good. It lets you go in and manually edit attribute values. You can see the notes, you can add to your text. If you select the table and you right mouse click, you can copy it and then be able to paste it into other documents. You can sort the table. It provides a lot of really nice capabilities and views to your file. My file, when you combine the capability of the Tinderbox view alongside my view, you'll see that there are several capabilities. So both allow us to view the children in a table, edit the children. You can only edit the children in the Tinderbox view, not the view file that I've done here. You can add and delete notes in Tinderbox table view, not in the view that I'm providing here. Both allow to adjust attributes being used in the table, to adjust formats in the table, to copy the table. You can both hide and show rows in a table. I suggest doing it with agents. The built-in table view has other capacities for doing that. And then this is where the two capabilities start to differ. My library and table template allows you to not just think with the table and interact with it, but actually export it and preview and export it. You can apply style sheets. You can apply a row span. You can transpose the children's names into the header rows. You can use the macro. You can integrate with the table library with other templates in your files, and there are several other nice little features and additions that are in this element. So long story short, this is a really great addition to the Tinderbox, to the 5C School of Knowledge Management Tinderbox publishing bundle that I'm pulling together. Other files that we have in this bundle are the foundational template, the anchor list template, the list management template, and the dynamic creating and linking of notes template. And now we're introducing today the tables template. So this is a pretty exciting addition to this. Just another heads up, I wanted to give you a shout out. I'll be developing a few other templates that will be coming soon, such as a media, working with media, working with automatically numbering media are two projects that I have underway. And then in addition to that, on April 11th, take a look at the notes. I've got future classes for Tinderbox School. So for example, today is March 31st, 2025. So on April 11th, 2025, we'll be having the next Mastering Tinderbox 101 5C School course launching. And then we have several other courses that we're launching all throughout the year and time. So always take a look at that 5C School of Knowledge Management for latest courses and various templates that become available through the school. So I hope you enjoy this file, and thank you very much. Reach out if you have any questions. Bye-bye.